Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the seams. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passionate both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rock. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello, hello.
This is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, also known as our Geezette.
Good evening.
And we were just talking about the summer movies. And what are you looking forward to, man?
Well, I'll tell you, there was a bunch of them that I'm now interested in that I had no idea was even happening. And here we are. We sit here every week talking about the news and announcements about movies that are coming out. And so for so many of these to go under my radar, I'm like, is there a marketing department still functioning in the entertainment industry?
I don't know what to tell you. I go to the main sites. I go to Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter. I would figure those ones are the ones that will post the news. But what movies did you notice that we haven't covered? I'm curious.
Well, I had no idea that there was going to be a Practical Magic 2, even though now that I say it, I think we might have mentioned that was coming out. And I was like, that seems like kind of out there. There's a new Insidious movie coming out, though, that I didn't know about. I thought
Are those any good? I've never seen one.
I saw, I think, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm way behind on a lot of the franchises I would otherwise enjoy, just because I've been so busy, you know.
I should check out the Insidious movies. All right, now I go ahead.
There's another one we talked about that we really should talk. That we're going to have to talk more about when it gets closer. But that's Coyote versus Roadrunner.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. Acme, yes.
Movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. We covered that a little while ago. That was the one that Warner Brothers dumped and Ketchup Entertainment picked up. So
yeah, I'm
curious about that one. Trying to think what else is coming out though. We got the Spider-Man Brand New Day, which makes
I refuse to see that just based on the title alone. I will not. I will not. Even if like the previous movie, it had nothing to do with the
comics
source material it's alluding to. I am no. That just tells me that Disney and Sony have completely lost touch with the comic book fans and just screw them.
Well, I've argued I'm looking more forward to the Spider Noir series than anything else.
I
The
know.
one with
Yeah.
Nick Cage that's coming out, so I don't know. I just, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out, though. Maybe there'll be a nice surprise, huh? Maybe this will be the time for something new to break through, as it said. Welcome, Lynn Green. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. I guess she was first.
Yep.
Big Al, hello, my geezer friends. Hope you have a pleasant evening and hope that you have a great week ahead. Well, so do I. And by the way, Netter is mentioning become a member. And if you're a member, we will be doing a special secret stream tomorrow night. Well, not secret, but
Well,
only know the
it's a
members.
private member stream, and yeah, I already put together the promo for tomorrow afternoon for it.
It's Boomer's birthday movie rewatch, and I decided there were 4 horror movies from 1978. And
specifically made for TV horror movies, which may kind of flavor it a little bit.
A little differently. Why'd you say that, man? I was hoping to go into this with nobody knowing any better, man.
They deserve to know in advance what they're getting themselves into.
And I think the one that won the vote was Devil Dog, the Hound from Hell. I mean, that's terrifying, man.
I mean, it's a good sounding title, and that Richards girl, I like her, so maybe it'll be okay.
You bring home Fido, and he's like breathing fire on your hair. It's not good. It's like I'm just like.
Well, I mean, there's got to be a good tagline, right? Like, every dog is a good boy, except this one.
Every dog has his day, but this one is the end of the world. I'm just trying to think. I don't know.
This dog's day is the end of the world.
Yeah, this dog's day is the dog day afternoon. More like dog day see in hell soon. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of the taglines for this movie.
Dog day apocalypse, yeah.
I was watching behind the scenes on it on the Blu-ray, and they're like the guys saying like, well, you get certain scripts, because back then they would just get tons and tons of spec scripts, and their company decided some are theatrical movies and some you make for TV, and this was a make for TV one. Someone had decided at the studio.
That does kind of sum it up, right? When you put it that way, you got to be aware of what you're getting into.
They sold it to European theaters, though. So they were shown in theaters in Europe. In fact, I think there's even an Italian language track on my Blu-ray. They must have been big on it in Italy. Yes.
I have to wonder if some of the European marketers, they didn't have enough cinema, so they needed as much as they could get. They were looking for content, so to speak.
One of the reasons why there was such a big cinema boom in Italy in the 1970s, from what I heard, was that Italian television was so bad, it drove people out to theaters.
I get that.
So they probably said, hey, this looks like something our audience would like, it's Devil Dog. But, look at this, you sent me a thing. Maybe we'll do a discussion of these next time. We'll do a preview or something. That might be an idea. The End of Oak Street. Ooh.
I don't even know what that is.
It's Disclosure Day. That's that Spielberg movie.
Right.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about. See, that's the other thing. Some of the movies that we've even talked about here on Geeky Geezers fell off my radar for lack of interest. Just because I will not be seeing The Odyssey. I probably won't be watching Masters of the Universe unless I hear phenomenally good things about it. We're going to get more into why I'm probably not going to be seeing The Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater.
Dude, this is a sad summer.
I know.
What the heck?
Those are just the headliner ones. There are others coming out.
Well, maybe some of these others can break through. I have to say, I always thought the worst summer for movies, at least prior to the pandemic days, was the summer of 2001. We'll have to talk about summer of 2001 someday.
Yeah.
That was when they were afraid of the writer's strike, and they just, I think they were holding on to movies to not show in the summer, so they have them for later, so it was just a tepid.
And let's not even forget Clayface. We've talked about that one. Practical Magic, a Resident Evil.
Okay.
And,
But
and as I said, I did not. This the one that I'm probably most looking forward to, but didn't even know was coming out. Minions and Monsters, another movie in the Minions
that might be
franchise
good.
or series or whatever. I would imagine so. I've liked every other Minions film they've done.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, we're getting an unscripted raid in here.
Awesome,
And I
awesome.
get a happy birthday from deleted scenes. Now, technically, the birthday does not start until this Thursday, but it's my birthday week, so I think it's good enough for now, right?
Yeah. Oh, at our age, you celebrate however you can and want to. And if you want to celebrate your birthday for a week, screw it. You do it.
Oh man, why didn't I think about this? I should have gotten devil dogs to enjoy during the devil dog stream. Oh well. Never
There you
mind.
go.
I haven't eaten those in ages. Anyway, but Geek Flag, welcome, calling us fellow old farts.
Well, he's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong, because man, I think back to old Doctor Who, and I'm like, can I get my old Doctor Who back? Can I get? I've been watching
Well, you
Babylon
can
5 clips.
tonight.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Because
Tonight
you're
you
gonna
can
have it
watch.
after the stream.
We're doing the mid portion of Reign of
Oh,
Terror tonight.
that's
Um,
interesting.
and I really encourage you to join us tonight for this one because the two episodes we're showing go from the live action to the animated
Oh,
replacement. And I think that the transition is actually really pretty good. And honestly, the animation is as good or better in some cases as far as pacing goes for the live action segments. So anyway, join us tonight, late night, 11:30 Central, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, on my channel for Doctor Who.
every Sunday evening, yes.
Every Sunday.
Sashi, welcome.
Sashi, haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, my friend from the future.
Yeah, Sashi, we were mentioning Coyote versus Acme, but
Yep.
maybe that'll be the big surprise hit. That'd be nice if it was. And then, like I said, Warner Brothers can get
I
ketchup
I
on its
can
face.
almost guarantee you that's the case. Well, I think this is going to be. I don't know about ketchup on the face, but I think it's a splash of cold water to say, hey, time to get your heads out of your asses. And well, and I think that's a big part of that will be if the Paramount deal goes through. Paramount coming in and saying, what the heck were you thinking? You know, kind of stuff.
Oh, there need to be some heads rolling over
No.
there at Warner Media.
Starting with friggin' Zasloff. Get rid of that effer.
Well, oh, please. You don't think he's going to leave after the merger? He'll want to leave. He'll take his money and he's going to run. That's probably what's going to happen.
If the merger happens, if it doesn't, he's even more screwed.
Wasn't there something in the news about somebody else? Oh no, no, it wasn't. It was they were interviewing theater chain owners about the merge. That's what I forgot to. Well, maybe next time we'll talk about that. Anyway, you want to bring the presentation up so we can
I
get into.
will, absolutely.
And again, I'm gonna have to basically educate Troy tonight on a movie he missed out on back in again 1978.
Yeah.
It's this is again another horror movie from 1978, and the only reason I picked this for good old days is because it's relevant to a story we're talking about later.
Yes.
But I am talking about magic.
I'll tell you what, if I did see this, I can guarantee you I blocked it out of my memory. There is a probably a trauma related to that because I remember 78 I would have been 7, 8 years old at the time.
Perfect age for this movie, man.
Ventriloquist dummies
Perfect.
and overly real. Oh, I'll tell you what really screwed me up was that Twilight Zone episode about the mannequins. I had friggin' nightmares about that.
Yeah, this is
I'm glad Chucky didn't come out in the 70s, or I would have been completely screwed.
yeah. So let me read to you this poster. This was actually in the trailer. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try to imitate the dummy.
Oh, great.
Abracadabra, I sit on his knee, presto, change show, and now he is me. Hocus pocus, we take her to bed. Magic is fun. We're dead. You like that?
I don't understand it, and I don't think I want to.
This would air on TV. This
A
this this
terrifying love story.
A
Oh my
terrifying love
God,
story, yes.
no!
This thing would show up in the commercial. This is not the theatrical trailer. This was on regular television. I was watching something on Shudder where this guy was talking about. It was just a half-hour segment of things that scare people. And this guy says that when he was a kid, like 5 or whatever in the 1970s, he kept seeing this commercial on TV. And it was freaking him out, and that puppet was saying that, and it kept zooming in on the puppet, the ventriloquist dummy,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
kept
yeah.
saying that, and his dad would never change the channel. Like his dad's on the couch drinking a beer, like this is during a sports ball game, and he's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, that looks pretty creepy," and like he's as a kid. And he said that he developed a fear of like dolls and things
I
like that
can
after
totally
that.
understand that. Yes. This look. Okay, so first let me ask you: is this the ventriloquist dummy from that movie?
Yes,
Okay, so this is from the 1970s. Okay.
yes. His name is Fats.
Notice that it has all of the same connective tissue kind of tropes as the Annabelle doll today. There are certain qualities about these kinds of dolls that are just so freaking creepy. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I don't know if if the intent was creepiness when these dolls were made. Now,
Right.
I'll try to give you the plot of this movie. This is Anthony Hopkins stars, and he is a guy trying to do a stage magician act. He wants to be a magician, right?
Right, right.
Audience is ignoring him. There's a wonderful scene where he's talking to his mentor about his first performance and how well it went, and like he's describing how well it went. But then you see the actual scene as he's talking about it, and you can see him. He's yelling at the audience that's paying no attention to him. There's drinking the drinks, and he's yelling at them, and you could tell it was a bomb out. Okay, his first performance.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to get over like I don't know if it's stage fright or if it's some kind of performance anxiety. You know, it's on the stage. And then suddenly it fast forwards a year later, and suddenly his shows are selling out. There are lines around the block trying to get into these clubs where he's performing. And you see him get up on stage, and they're like saying, "Oh, what is it? Magic tricks? Who cares?" And then suddenly there's a call from the audience. You know, okay, "Hey, dummy, what are you doing? Okay, you think you can do better than me? I think I can do a lot better than you. Well, let's find out." And then he goes in the audience and picks up Fats and puts him on his arm. And this is a younger Anthony Hopkins, as you can see in this movie. And this is brilliant. He learned ventriloquism for this role.
Wow.
That's how dedicated he was. That's why I'm saying, you know, well, we'll talk about this later. Okay. He learned ventriloquism for this role. I caught an interview with him on the Merv Griffin show. Remember that? And he was saying, you know, like, I'm going to have to give a little bit of a spoiler alert. Let's just say that maybe the dummy starts to take control.
Yeah. I was getting kind of vibes of the ventriloquist, the Batman villain.
You know, I'm telling you, he is a lot like that. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if that's where the idea for the ventriloquist came from.
Almost certainly. Well, actually, I don't know when the ventriloquist character was introduced in the comics. It might predate 78. I don't know. But remember, all of those stories that you liked in those cartoons, they all came from classic comics going back to, you know, possibly the 70s, possibly the 60s.
Maybe.
But I did drop the link, well, in all of the chats, because this, if you are interested in this movie that Boomer's telling us about,
it's on Tubi.
It is available on Tubi for free. You can check it out immediately after this stream if you so choose.
And let me get a picture. There, the two of them are right there. What do you think of that, huh?
That is kind of great. Although, here's something interesting. Obviously, it's when you look at a ventriloquist dummy, it's somewhat a caricature, and it seems to be, if you look at the two of them together, a caricature of himself.
Yes, and sometimes that's how they do it. They try to make someone. And to be fair, I've seen plenty of ventriloquists that I find hilarious, like. I think is it Taylor something? Momsen, is it, or something like that?
Who's somebody in the chat will tell us who's the bloke with Peanut and
there's that guy too, yeah.
And Jeff something.
I know his name. Someone in chat.
Oh yeah, it is Jeff. It's Jeff. Oh, somebody's gonna say it in the chat.
Somebody Google it for us. Just
Alexa,
ask. There we go.
who is the comedian who has a puppet named Peanut?
Jeff Dunham is the comedian.
Jeff
who has a
Dunham,
puppet
that's
named
right.
I
Peanut.
was about to say Dunway, but okay, because I'm trying to remember
Jeff
the name.
Dunham, that's right.
But this is like a comic act, also a magic act, because he does card tricks, and
Sure,
and he's
sure.
up there with the puppet,
He's
and
got quite the collection of characters. Peanuts,
Alexa,
Walt-
stop!
he's getting very popular, and I think the Late Show, I don't know if it's the one with Johnny Carson, they want to have him on. But in order to go on the Late Show, this character, whose name I think is Corky, let me double check. Yeah, Charles
Right.
Corky Withers, that's his nickname, Corky. He has to pass a psych exam, right? And he don't want to do that.
I would imagine.
He then flees to his hometown, where he runs into his the one that got away, the girl he had a crush on in high school, who was played by Anne Margaret.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get to see a bit of her in this movie. Anyway, of course she got married. They start having it. It just turns out to be a disaster. His agent is played by Burgess Meredith. If I can get his picture up here, let's see. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most terrifying scenes in movie history is him telling Anthony Hopkins' character, "I'm fine. Leave me alone. I just taking a break." He says, "Okay. You know what? You need help, boy. I just want to get you help, because we can stop this now, and you can still have a career, but we have to get it handled now." And then he's like, "No, I'm fine. Okay, if you're so fine, and you just have to do one thing for me: make Fats shut up for 5 minutes. Make the dummy shut up for 5 minutes."
Wow,
And
that
it's
is
and you're just
horrifying.
watching him trying to stay quiet.
Honestly,
and-
I swear, I thought you were going to say that the most terrifying thing about this movie was Burgess Meredith in that 70s suit jacket. Just, my gosh. With
I
the
think it's-
turtleneck, yeah.
round turtleneck, and he's always smoking his cigars. I don't want to spoil too much more of the movie. I do want to say some of the talent behind this movie, though. Screenplay by William Goldman, based on his own book. I need to read the book one of these days, because the book has a different twist in it, which is actually pretty clever. But it's always interesting when you get the writers to adapt their own books into a movie. Sir Richard Attenborough
Wow.
directed this movie. Okay, I believe he was
Wow.
Sir, right? Yeah, he does this. Jerry Goldsmith does the score. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably missing out on something here.
Well, it's weird because this one guy that did like these 2-minute reviews years ago on YouTube, he's this English guy, and he's saying, yeah, you have all this talent. It's like getting Scorsese and Al Pacino and all these people in a movie about killer puppets. Okay,
Right?
It's like, yeah. Let's just say Fats starts telling him to do things that you shouldn't do, and well, things sort of spiral out of control from there. I don't want to spoil too much of the movie. It's freaky. See, right now everyone thinks Fats is cute, even though we in the audience know he's not cute. There's this wonderful scene where there's this love scene between him and Anthony Hopkins, and you in the audience think, "Oh, this is this great romance," and then they pan over to Fats sitting on a chair, and they're playing this horrible carnival music right after the romance. He's like, "No, you're in a killer puppet movie. Don't forget where you are."
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, it's freaky out. It's freaky out, man. And I don't know. It's a wonderful little movie. Siskel never reviewed it. Siskel liked it a lot. He thought it was like the scariest thing he'd seen since The Exorcist. He put it up there. It's just,
I'm kind of not doubting that at all, to be honest with you.
but getting back to that Shudder story about that kid that had the phobia about dolls and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, his aunt apparently made those old school porcelain type dolls professionally, would sell them at fairs and things, of course.
Sure.
And then one night he had to spend like a weekend there at his aunt's house, right?
Oh, God.
And she said, "Well, you know what? I set up a bed for you in the attic." And they set up a bed from the attic, and guess what's all around?
All
the
those
bed?
dolls all around him.
All
yeah.
the dolls were around there, and he's like starting to freak out, and then he's just staring at them, and then suddenly something switched off in his head, and he was able to just get to sleep, and then the fear went away. Isn't that weird? It's just like immersing yourself in what you fear until you don't fear it anymore. Is that what that was?
I guess. Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, you may want to look into this movie someday. It's a chiller. There's some great performances in it too. But look at that, huh? You don't even recognize it's Anthony Hopkins' voice at first. I'm like, I had to do a double take. I'm like, wait, that's Hannibal Lecter. That's Anthony Hopkins. This in this movie, and this is
Yeah.
him doing the voice. And it's one of those ventriloquist dummy voices where it sounds all weird, and snarky and stuff. And it's just
Exactly.
it's actually a testimony how good an actor he is. Actually, I'll say this, but so Scorsese, Pacino, Peanut, the color of felt coming this winter, rated R. You joke. One of the running jokes on YouTube is putting Martin Scorsese movie dialogue over Sesame Street puppets. I saw one for Casino where it's like De Niro and Al Pacino and it's De Niro's character and Joe Pesci over Bert and Ernie.
Oh
And
my
when you
gosh,
look
I
at,
can imagine that.
and you look at the two of them, you're like, they actually kind of look like Muppet versions of those actors. If you think about
You say that, yeah.
and then they had another one called Sesame Streets instead of Mean Streets, Sesame Streets, and they're doing lines from Goodfellas, and I'm hearing Ray Liotta yelling at his wife about flushing the smack down the toilet because
my
I need that
gosh.
money, and it's all with the Sesame Street characters, and it's like,
Wow.
Anyway, so I don't know, Netter, did you ever hear of this movie growing up? I'm curious.
Yeah, I've actually seen it a couple times.
Oh, you've seen Magic.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it was kind of like a creepy Twilight Zone.
Kind of, kind of. Yeah, it's like a Lost Twilight Zone episode. I think they did do a Twilight Zone episode with a puppet, but didn't it turn out to be like a possessed puppet or something? Whereas this is more of a split personality thing, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I could have seen this as a Twilight Zone episode, or maybe an Alfred Hitchcock Presents. That's another one, but I don't know. I need to read the original book it was based on at some point. That's the sad thing about a lot of these big books that they made these movies off of. The movie becomes famous, but then over time the book ceases being circulated, and the only way the book survives is through the movie. It's weird.
Right.
I don't want to spoil the book. There's a great twist in the book, which I learned when I was watching the behind the scenes. I almost wish I didn't hear the writer talking about it. I don't know. Should I spoil it for you? the big twist.
I mean, it is a movie from 1970.
No, it's a twist in the book. You want to hear the twist from the book?
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to tell you. Click off if you don't want to hear this. I'll be done in a minute. The big twist in the book was when you're reading the book, it's being told first-person perspective, and you think you're reading things from the point of view from the ventriloquist, and halfway through the book you realize it's been the dummy talking the whole time.
Wow.
Okay,
now that is actually pretty cool, and that's the kind of thing where you kind of wish that they'd had a closing scene that just kind of focuses on the dummy, and you realize that it's the dummy talking. Yeah.
Well, he said he couldn't do that twist in the movie; it wouldn't have worked. That's why he had to do something else. But he said in the book that's what he did. That was the big twist in the book. So he tried thinking of different twists for the movie. But yeah, this was a brilliant. I don't know. I need to read the book at some point. William Golding, big deal writer back in the day too. Yeah. A lot of talent behind this. I'm telling you, and I think people see Killer Puppet and they say no.
Yeah, well, I understand that for sure.
Oh, final pick. You like that?
God,
it's freaky. The commercial's freaky with the puppet talking. And nothing happens on it except from telling that little weird rhyme thing. That's all it is, and it still freaks me out. I'm telling you.
I'm not surprised.
All right. Time to move on to the news, I guess. Welcome to Geeky Geezers News in Review. And let me find my notes real quick. There they are. Bring these up. This, I decided we're going to cover it because this has been all throughout on all the media this week, game-wise. IGN mixtape review draws backlash over perfect score for controversial game. Okay. This is from That Park Place. WW Pro did this article, but it's been all be over the thing. So this is one of these weird indie titles that is supposed to be like about teens in the 90s and them just doing, I guess, things that teens in the 90s did, even though people think it's more like it's made by somebody who didn't actually live through the 90s. But for starters, the mixtapes they make, if you look closely at them, they don't look like actual tapes we had back in the day. There's no like tape actually. They look off, if you know what I mean. But
Yes.
let me go ahead and read from this though. But the controversy comes from the fact that it got this 10 out of 10 review. It used to be back in the day very rare that any game would get a 10 out of 10. If you get a 10 out of 10, your game has to be outstanding. Like a game that would stand the test of time. Like I don't even think IGN, at least on IGN, I don't even think Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, that didn't even get a 10 out of 10. It might have gotten a 9 or a 9.5 because they were very big on we don't give anything a 10 out of 10. But times have changed. So, video game review outlet IGN is facing major backlash after awarding the controversial game Mixtape a rare perfect 10 out of 10 score. The publication long joked about online for routinely handing out 7 out of 10 ratings, has reportedly given only a small handful of games perfect scores over the past 3 decades. This makes the review especially notable. Players on YouTube and X who have tried Mixtape criticize everything from shallow gameplay and awkward gross out moments to what seem as forced diversity. Others, meanwhile, argue that the game doesn't go far enough in its representation. So both sides were angry. That's great. Okay, many players also took issue with the game's relatively short runtime. Across social media, some critics are labeling both Mixtape and itself the kind of artistic praise IGN used to defend as pretentious. Overall, the incident highlights the growing divide between audiences and legacy outlets that claim to provide honest critiques. I have to be honest with you, I don't think I've gone to IGN for review for years. I think now we have these people called YouTubers. They play games and reviews them, and I usually get my opinions from them, or at least I
Yeah.
get from them.
Ones that I trust.
Yeah, that's basically it. Mixtape launched on May 7th on all major consoles and PC via Steam. Developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur and published by Annapurna Interactive, the game is a nostalgia-driven coming-of-age story set in the 1990s. Follows a group of teenagers, their final night together before graduating high school. Even before release, however, Mixtape faced accusations of being an quote-unquote industry plant. Despite its indie branding, the game features a soundtrack packed with major artists including the Smashing Pumpkins, Joy Division, and The Cure. Licensing those songs likely required substantial budget far beyond most small indie studios. Yeah, considering that Tony Hawk 3 and 4 apparently couldn't get their songs back, despite the fact that Microsoft, one of the richest companies on the planet, owns that studio now. But I guess those songs was, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. Licensing those songs likely okay, yeah. Critics also pointed to the game's aggressive marketing campaign, which included elaborate promotional packages sent to online influencers before launch. Yeah, people got like free CD players in the mail with the actual CD soundtrack and stuff. It was actually kind of swanky. Thinking that might have actually swayed opinion on how the game is.
So in other words, what you're saying is these reviewers can be bought.
That another theory is that they heard the soundtrack and because the game sort of is one of these easier to play. Like I don't think you can really fail at it games that the journalists just ate it up. Whereas they gave a game called
Because game journals can't play games. Right.
well, there's a game that got released recently called Crimson Desert, which gamers everywhere are liking. It's like a medieval fantasy type world game. And I think IGN gave it like a 7 out of 10, even though it's considered really great. But they give this thing a 10 out of 10. People are suspicious about this. But he goes on to say, ultimately, growing trust gap in gaming media. Ultimately, the backlash IGN is facing for its Mixtape review goes far beyond the game's shortcomings. For many players, the controversy reflects a growing sense of inauthenticity in gaming journalism, wherein credibility comes into questions. Those looking for information turn to other sources. In an era where audiences can instantly compare reviews with raw gameplay footage and community reactions, trust has become just as important as the score itself. Now, I do want to say I have nothing against this game. I also have no interest in playing it or buying it, but if a developer wants to make this kind of game, that's up to them. I don't care. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that IGN gives out 7 out of 10s to games that are clearly higher than that, and then they throw a 10 to this game because I don't know if the soundtrack got them in the feels or if it's the fact that they got a swanky package in the mail or just because they don't like playing games and they like the fact this is an interactive movie.
I think I think the fact that a lot of although this comes from that Park Place, a lot of people are talking about this, and I think that this kind of stuff is now being called out by the mainstream, which is also why you're also seeing what the turning towards the niche YouTuber rather than the so-called mainstream media shills, because I think the average person is starting to recognize this problem.
Well, some guy was yelling recently too about IGN, how they didn't cover that Neo Geo AES system that got announced a few weeks back, and they were
Yeah,
saying that they covered the Neo Geo Mini console, which was a piece of junk, and they covered that, and they say people are noticing IGN seems to be covering less and less about games, even though it started out as a game site, and they're doing more movies, I guess Marvel adjacent stuff like superhero stuff, and they're not doing the game stuff like they used to.
yeah.
So I. I don't know. What's the old expression? You can't spell ignorant without IGN. But
Good point.
because once a song owner knows someone wants to renew a license, they know they can demand a higher price for their supply. That might be true, but I know in the case of Tony Hawk 3 and 4, they interviewed a bunch of the artists in the first game, and they said no one contacted us.
Yeah.
They said they could have reached out to us and maybe they could have worked something out because they were able to do it for the 1 and 2 remake they did. They couldn't get every song back, but they got a good majority of them back, and then they substituted other songs from the period as a replacement, which I think is fine. I think I understand that you can't get everything, but I don't know. Is this any different from the old pay-to-play sandals at radio stations? It's probably quite similar.
Yeah.
But again, it's about proving. I don't care. These are gaming journalists. They were exposed over 10 years ago for what they
The
were.
difference is it doesn't really matter why they're doing it, whether it's pay to play or how they're being coerced into doing it. The more important element is that it is so biased that their audience is noticing it and kind of rebelling against it.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I was looking for a review of an indie title a few weeks back. I think it was called Saint Slayer, and I noticed that what I did was I went on YouTube to find people talking about it, and I realized I think I realized when I read this, I don't think I've gone to a game site for review for years now.
Yeah.
I think I just don't care what they have to say about this stuff. I go there for news items because somebody's the first one to make a game announcement or something like that, but I don't really care about what their opinions of how the game is because I haven't trusted them for years.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Thank you, WW Pro. Nintendo in the news again.
Okay, here we go.
Well, this isn't. Well, let me just read it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nintendo just announced a new Switch 2 bundle that lets you choose your own game. The price hike on the Nintendo Switch 2 we all anticipated was made official earlier this month. Customers in the U.S. will now pay $50 more for the Switch console instead of $449.99 later this year. So if you're already going to have to dish out more money, you might as well get a free game out of it, right? Launching in early June, participating retailers will be offering a new Nintendo Switch 2 Choose Your Game bundle for $499. Now, to be fair, this is $50 extra. The same price as the console alone will soon be. The bundle includes Nintendo Switch 2 system along with download code for your choice of one of those titles, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Pokemon Pokopia. Pokemon Pokopia. Say that 5 times fast, huh? These games cost $79.99, $69.99, and $69.99 respectively. Nintendo says you'll be saving up to $30 on these games by snagging the bundle, but after the price hike goes into effect, you'd essentially be getting a game of your choice for free. This could be perfect for you to finally play the Switch 2 game that you can't stop thinking about. Okay, it's Pokopia, isn't it? No, if I were to get one of these bundles, I would have gotten the Donkey Kong Bonanza one because I like Donkey Kong. But this is what I think is going on, though. Remember when the Switch 2 was first announced, and there was the $449.99 bundle that didn't come with the game, but then there was the $499 bundle that came with Mario Kart World, and the game was already going to cost you $80, so technically you were saving $30. But they said those are going to be in shorter supply, and everyone went out and bought the $499 model. Well, now apparently that $499 model is now going to be a standard as far as you getting the free game, at least during the summer. So if you got screwed out before and you said, I'm not getting a Switch 2, well, you can get one now and still get yourself a game with it, which isn't technically free as it's $50 more. But since the game is going to cost you $50, you know what? I don't know. I was saying I think they're worried, but I don't know. I think they're worried. I think they're realizing that this $499 is going to be hard to swallow.
I wouldn't pay it.
Yeah, and that's what they can't afford for there to be a big market contraction on this. Part of the reason they're raising their prices, well, aside from greed, is because they have specific expectations that they need to hit, and if they don't hit it, they're kind of screwed. So they've got to find a way to make this price point work for them.
Well, here's what happened with me. When I got the Nintendo Switch, I got it as a Black Friday deal. It was $299.99, and it came with a free download code for Mario Kart 8. So you got a free game. You got the digital copy instead of the physical, but you still got a free game with it. When the Nintendo Wii came out, it was funny because I was reading someone had I think someone had donated. It was an old Newsweek Year in Review magazine from 2008. I was leafing through it, and I'm like, oh wow, look, there's Vladimir Putin. Like they're talking about all these things, and I'm like, wow, this is from 2008. I don't even think Obama had been elected yet. And I was looking at the articles, and they talked about the Nintendo Wii, and they said, oh, it beat out the competition for its low price tag of $249.99. And I was like, yeah, because back then Nintendo would beat out the competition by having a cheaper console. They were the cheapest on the market. It also came with Wii Sports. They gave you a free game with it, which was the game everybody wanted to play, which was Wii Sports with the bowling and everything. So now it's twice that amount of money, and people don't have that kind of money right now. So I just don't get it. Okay. I just brought that up because it sounds like Nintendo's worried. It's been a slow news week. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
Would you like to go join the Pokopia, though?
I don't even know what that is.
Something to do with Pokemon?
Yeah, it's related to Pokemon. I think it's.
Are we assuming that it is the Pokemon equivalent of Utopia? I suppose.
Zootopia, maybe. Maybe it's like Zootopia, but with Pokemon. Yeah. I don't know. I think you play in a village. It ended up being a surprise hit, actually. I think Nintendo wasn't aware that people really wanted to play that game. Sony's Q4 FY25 financial report shows it's losing $767 million over Bungie. Okay, so a while back, Sony bought Bungie. Bungie, as we all know, they were the ones that created the Halo series. No, by buying Bungie, Sony did not get Halo because Bungie left Xbox to go off on their own and make their own games. So Xbox still had the rights to Halo. There was a joke. There used to be a YouTuber that did joke, had like all the different game consoles were represented by different models, right? And the PlayStation model got all excited because she says, look, we have Halo now. And then some guy in a suit says, actually, no, you don't have Halo as an exclusive. You don't have Halo's PlayStation. It's because what did they buy when they bought Bungie? I think they bought it. Okay, I don't know. So sales here are essentially the same. Sony acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion in 2000, but it doesn't seem to be doing that well. Last year, the tech giant gained tighter control of the game developer, which lost roughly $204 million at the time, as recorded in November. Alas, the new document states that the impairment loss is now about $767 million. Moreover, Sony added $117 million to that number, correcting previously capitalized Bungie development costs. So they paid $3.6 billion for a company that has so far lost them $767 million. What do you think of that?
Kind of.
Yeah, some business genius going on there, I tell you.
I don't know. Okay, that was it. I didn't want to have. Okay. Happy Sunday. What's up, guys? I don't know. We're going to get to more. Okay. Oh, wait, I remember going to a hotel that had a Wii in the lobby and guests just hung out and played with each other. Well, that was the thing. Nintendo sometimes hits it out of the park. Now, I was never a big Wii fan, but I couldn't deny how popular it was. I preferred the GameCube. That was their game console that did not do so hot. But all right, here we go. For me, with my Evercade, new Neo Geo and Activision collections announced for the Evercade. Do I have to explain to you what an Evercade is again?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's basically that. It's like that Super Pocket thing I got you, but you can hook it up to your TV and it plays games. Okay, yes. Neo Geo, another Neo Geo. So if you don't want to spend... let me just read the article. Hold on. So Blaze has confirmed the next two cartridges in the Evercade range. Neo Geo Arcade 4 is the latest entry in the Neo Geo range, which pulls together a selection of titles for SNK's arcade home console platform. The 8 games are 3 Count Bout, which I believe is a wrestling game. Baseball Stars 2, that's a baseball game. Blazing Star, that's a shoot 'em up. Fatal Fury Special, fighting game. King of Monsters, which is basically like you're playing Godzilla and things like that and demolishing each other in the city. Metal Slug 4, Robo Army, and King of Fighters 2002. So you get 8 games on this cartridge for $29.99, which some may find a better deal than spending $89.99 on one of these games for the AES Plus. But anyway, I'm kidding, because the Neo Geo, these are the same games that are on the AES, the thing I announced earlier this month. Anyway, okay. Activision Collection 3, this might interest you, huh?
I mean, I used to like Activision back in the dinosaur era of Atari 2600.
Okay, Barnstorming.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Don't know that one. Okay, Bridge.
Oh yeah, sure.
Chopper Command.
It's vaguely familiar.
Dolphin.
Don't know that one at all.
Dragonfire.
I don't think I know that one.
Kabobber.
Definitely don't know that one.
Kaboom.
That one I remember, yes.
Okay, Kaboom. Keystone Capers.
Yep.
Laser Blast. Pressure Cooker. The Activision Decathlon. And Thwocker. Thwocker. Thwocker.
Yeah, no idea.
Do I get to go into the game and just thwocker people? Just hit them?
I honestly don't think they're bringing out their A games for this, but the
It's
better
the last-
games probably have some licensing issues.
It's the last Activision collection that's coming out for Evercade, and I'm like, thank goodness. I mean, no, it's great that we're getting a third Activision collection, which I'll still get because I'm a completist, and I had the Atari collections on this thing, so it'll go with those. But I'm like, yeah, the Neo Geo collection is more interesting. Like I said, one of these games for the AS Plus that's included on this would cost you $89.99. Now, granted, you're getting an officially big licensed cartridge like the old days, but if you're on a budget and you want to play Neo Geo games, Evercade's probably your best bet. If you're not on a budget, then go with the AS Plus. Okay. Okay, let's move on. I'm glad. Actually, to be honest with you, I honestly don't want Evercade to become too popular because I don't want these things to be scalped on eBay. I like the fact that I can pay $29.99 a cartridge. That seems reasonable to me,
Yeah.
like the Game Boy days. Now we move into Star Wars.
Here we go.
Remember we used to have a Star Wars section in the notes, and then we stopped having one?
Yeah, because there just wasn't enough other than hey, look, Kathleen Kennedy might be getting fired because a little birdie told us that she would.
Well,
Nope, false alarm.
Yeah.
Star Wars has officially returned to the big screen, courtesy of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and members of the film press are calling the franchise comeback a quote-unquote thrilling adventure, a quote-unquote perfect summer movie, and a quote-unquote a lot of fun, although overall reactions are divided. It's less about the lore and more a fun, freaky romp across the galaxy. I really dug that about it. Fandango's Eric Davis posted on X in one of the most positive takes. Also, really dug Ludwig Göransson's score, especially the parts that felt like an homage to 80s synth-driven horror and action thrillers. It reminded me how fun Star Wars can be when it stops worrying about canon homework and just cuts loose.
Screw you. That's another great way of saying, yeah, fans, stay away. You won't be interested. This is for the popcorn eaters that have lost interest in Star Wars too. Just saying.
They like the flashes. The weakest, I mean, how does it stand against Solo? Well, there was Solo.
Right.
With Phoebe Waller-Bridge as that droid that apparently had a relationship with Lando Calrissian, if I'm reading between the lines in that movie.
Her name was Leet.
Puck News box office columnist Scott Mendelson called this movie a solid line drive past second base with lots of neat. Haven't seen that in a Star Wars.
That does not sound like a ringing endorsement. Hey, this one's a double.
Look, man, I never saw someone barf 3 times in a row in a Star Wars movie before. You know, I mean, come on.
This is not a home run. This is a double, guys. So just
More mixed reactions came courtesy of IO9's Jermaine Lussier, who said the movie feels like a longer, bigger episode of the show, which is what we figured it's going to be. It's based on writing it as one or two standout scenes, but it feels much more interested in developing the story to new locations with new creatures than the characters. Enjoyed some of it, left frustrated, but the rest. That sounds like a normal reaction. Okay.
Yeah.
Collider's Perry Nemiroff shared criticism of Rada the Hutt, voiced by the Bear Emmy winner Jeremy Allen White. Live action Hutts are a challenge to pull off, a gladiator Hutt even more so, and it didn't help that Rada's dialogue was often too on the nose, she posted. He did grow on me, but it feels like there was a more compelling way to convey his place in the world and his mission. Correct me if I'm wrong, does the Hutt in this movie speak English?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. A lot of the fans are saying they're once again retconning Star Wars because it's although Hutts are capable of speaking Galactic Standard, they choose not to because they're superior. It's like you should learn our language.
Yes.
And so they only speak Huttese. And they've already established that Din Djarin speaks Huttese. So this is just lazy filmmaking.
Another review. One of the weakest Star Wars movies, reporter Jonathan Sim wrote, an emotionless, predictable experience that doesn't push Din Djarin anywhere interesting, dull, unexciting fight scenes, just CGI monsters, action figures mashed together, a long, colorless, made-for-TV movie. Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, it probably started out as that.
Yeah.
A continuation.
I've heard predictions that this movie is going to do about as well as Solo: A Star Wars Story, and you know what they said about Solo: A Star Wars Story.
But so the Star Wars Story, say what you will, it had a big budget like other Star Wars movies. I gotta this feels more like when they put that Clone Wars cartoon movie in the theaters. That's what this is remind me of.
And so it's going to come off as cheap.
It's like
I
big
just don't
budget
know.
does not mean quality.
Right.
Well, that's true.
And low budget doesn't necessarily mean more likely to be profitable. This movie's going to prove that.
A continuation of the beloved Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, the new Star Wars movie centers around the adventures of Pedro Pascal's bounty hunter Din Djarin. Per the official synopsis, oh no. I just realized all this time, Din Djarin, is that a take on Django?
Possibly.
Per the official synopsis, the evil empire.
Although they do have a character named Rango, so I don't know what.
I thought that
I
was
don't know.
named after the lizard Johnny Depp played in that one cartoon movie.
I think we are putting way more thought into it than anyone involved in Disney Star Wars has ever put into this stuff.
The evil empire has fallen and Imperial warlords remain scattered throughout the galaxy as the fledgling New Republic works to protect everything the rebellion fought for. They have enlisted the help of legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter Din and his young apprentice Grogu. Is he his apprentice?
He was as of
in
the last.
Theory, he is a foundling as far as the Mandalorian tradition goes. So I guess you could argue that to a certain degree.
He had a choice to train with Luke, or to stay with Din Djarin and train with him, and he chose Din Djarin.
And if he is effectively an adoptive son, and every day is take your kid to work day, I guess that makes him a de facto apprentice.
I have a question. Do the Mandalorians have stuff they do with Force users in their own society that's not what the Jedi do?
Actually, their history is more antagonistic to the Jedi.
I understand that they're antagonists of the Jedi, but then do they have Force users in their society that they do
I don't
stuff
think they've
with?
ever really addressed it. No.
Do the Mandalorians just not naturally have Force users? Maybe that's what it is?
The closest they've come to addressing that is the lore behind the Darksaber, but it was less Jedi related than, and I forget the name of the Mandalorian who first crafted the Darksaber. He was Force sensitive. I don't think it comes up that much in the lore, though.
As of when he chose to leave Luke. Okay, yes. All right. Grogu is Mandalorian barbecue. Oh, really? My late father, my dad, made this joke about when he saw The Phantom Menace, and he wanted this to happen in that movie where they asked, Queen Amidala, like, why is there so much animosity between your people and the Gungans? And then Queen Amidala says, wait a minute, the Gungans are our food. We catch them and eat them. He was waiting for that to happen, but no, let's not, not go there. Anyway, okay. In EU there has been occasional Mando Force sensitive, but they don't develop the talent much. Okay, you have to develop the talent. That's why the Jedi come in and they steal your children. I understand. And yeah,
Exactly.
that was a funny scene on that. Remember when they were watching when those what was it, the YouTuber that had those scenes with the deep fakes of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn and all them watching the Acolyte. And I think Qui-Gon Jinn says, "Oh, when my family was overjoyed when the Jedi accepted me," and he says, "Really, it tore my family apart." Said Obi-Wan, when the Jedi came and claimed it. Why France is making Les Mis again, and why this time feels different.
Yeah, I didn't know about this until you shared this with me.
It's not the musical, though. I thought it might have been
No.
the musical. Because isn't there a French language version of the musical?
Well, I have the French concept album that was put together, before it became the Broadway musical that became so popular.
I see.
In London.
Oh,
well,
okay.
it started in London, then it came to Broadway.
I see.
But that French concept album is really, really good, and I would have loved to see the stage. And I know that the musical has been done in so many languages, including Japanese. So I would have loved to have seen a French version of Les Miserables, the musical.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of versions of Les Mis out there. In fact, I believe there was an Italian version that wasn't a direct. It tells the story of Les Miserables in a more modern setting in Italy, if you will, and it's not Jean Valjean. But it's basically a lot of the same story beats.
Okay.
It's odd but different.
Okay.
And let's face it, Les Miserables, the original novel, Victor Hugo, I believe. It is public domain, so anyone can make their own version of Les Mis.
Yeah. So, and that's I think what they're doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is an interesting article. The French are betting audiences want their epics back. For much of the 1980s and 90s, France regularly mounted sprawling prestige productions on a scale few European industries could match. Films like Jean-Paul Rapinau's Cyrano de Bergerac, Claude Berry's...
Yes, I love that, by the way.
You've seen that, huh? Okay,
Yes,
I'm curious
I have.
about
Yes,
these
yes.
movies. Yeah, I should look for them. Claude Berry's Germinal from 1993. Or Patrice Chéreau's Queen Margaret in 1994. But as production costs rose and financing grew more risk-averse, those ambitious historical spectacles gradually disappeared from the big screen, replaced by smaller auteur dramas, comedies, and internationally portable genre films. Now, after years in retreat, large-scale French period storytelling is mounting a comeback. Studio Canal parent company Canal Plus has found global audiences for glossy historical series such as Versailles and Marie Antoinette, while Martine Bourboulon's two-part The Three Musketeers adaptation and Mathieu Delaporte and Alexandre de la Petitiere's The Count of Monte Cristo demonstrated that there was still an appetite, at least in France, for muscular literary adventures made on a blockbuster scale. So far, I'm hearing all good things. I'm going to be honest here. This sounds like I should be looking into these. This year in Cannes, Antoine Baudry's De Gaulle, Tilting Iron, the first in an epic two-part biopic on the iconic French leader, premieres out of competition, another sign of renewed confidence in prestige French popular cinema. Into the landscape comes Fred Cavalier's Les Miserables, a new action-skewed adaptation of Victor Hugo's classic about crime, justice, and redemption, starring Vincent Lindon as Jean Valjean and Tahar Rahim as the relentless Inspector Javert. The film reframes Hugo's novel, adapted dozens of times throughout the decades, but probably best known from audiences from the musical and Tom Hooper's 2012 film adaptation, as a propulsive chase thriller. Alongside Lyndon and Rahim, the veteran actors Camille Gautin and Benjamin Lavernay, the film boasts a supporting cast of 20 to and 30-something up-and-comers, including Nome Merlet, Portrait of a Lady, Tar, Megan Northam, Rabbi, Vasily Schneider, Count of Monte Cristo, Marie Clome, Beast, and Louis Pierre's The Sentinels. I'm curious if these movies will have international casts in them. Because I know that was big in Italy about having people from all over the world in your movies. The €40 million, 47 million production was put together independently by Richard Grandpierre as Esquad, the Touche franchise, Brotherhood of the Wolf, and Olivier Delbosque at Curiosa Films, 8 Women, The Wizard of the Kremlin, with a backing from Canal Plus Studio Canal, which is releasing the film theatrically across its global footprint and handling worldwide sales at Cannes Film Market. Additional funding came from TF1 and Netflix in France. This is curious. They do an interview with the people behind it. I did want to read the final comment on this. You might appreciate this. As long as you don't have Russell Crowe singing in it, I'll be happy. And I feel bad for Russell Crowe. I don't think his singing is really that bad. As you said, it's probably the director running everybody hoarse for that production that made that mess up.
Yeah, I realized I was being very disingenuous by being so harsh on him, and just looking at Hugh Jackman and saying, I know he's better than this. Yep. You know, this is because his voice was hoarse. They used the worst possible take. They didn't do decent sound mixing, and I didn't extend that same kind of grace to
Russell Crowe.
To Russell Crowe. I also did not realize that Russell Crowe was so talented a musician.
Yeah.
Previously, as Hugh Jackman was, different areas of music, but nonetheless,
yeah, like a rock
very
band,
talented,
right?
Yeah,
he's in a rock band. But I like the idea, because let's be honest here. People think of movies, they think Hollywood, but no. For a long time, Hollywood was never the only game in town. You had other countries providing movies to international audiences, including the United States. England made a lot of movies that were popular back in the day. I think the last vestiges of that was the James Bond franchise, because it finally petered out when Amazon took it over. But
James Bond, rest in peace.
Well, you know what? He's still alive because we have the books. Anyway.
In fact, if you rediscover those books, they are much more alive. You will have a brand new appreciation of the character if you go back and read those books.
And to be fair, the original movies, the Daniel Craig era was a reboot. People keep forgetting about that. That was a rebooted Bond era, so you can still go and enjoy the other ones without you having to have it to tie it to the new stuff.
That is very true. Yeah. That Russell Crowe period was something entirely of its own.
Hey guys, not feeling well, so don't think I can hang out to the end. Troy, I may not be there for, doctor. Well, we're so sorry, Geek Flag. I hope you're feeling better, man. All right.
But Nate, do get back with Ned, or she said she has a note out to you.
Check your DMs on Twitter. I asked you a question there that only you can answer.
Yes.
So please, check your DMs there and answer me, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
But I think I need to start giving these movies a chance, and I think the big test will see if these actually come to American theaters. People forget that movie theaters, your regular mainstream movie theaters, would show even foreign language movies. I remember seeing a lot of those big Chinese epic movies that were coming out before, of course, the CCP took over the Hong Kong film industry. But we were getting stuff like Hero. We were getting. I remember we got Kung Fu Hustle that came to theaters.
Oh God, yeah.
Love Kung Fu Hustle, and
I do too.
And I'm all for other countries competing with Hollywood, because competition will make Hollywood better. Because if Hollywood has to worry about
and honestly, here's the other thing. I feel like Hollywood is defining their audience down, and they are dumbing it down and dumbing it down, and the audiences are definitely lowering themselves to the expectation. I hear way too many people going, "Oh, not subtitles. I don't want to have to read. I'm watching a movie." Okay, then learn the damn language.
Well, here's another thing too. The more you get used to reading subtitles, the more it becomes second nature, and you almost don't
Yeah.
even notice them because you just know how. And I have to tell you, I've watched a lot of foreign movies, and I find French movies very easy to follow, a lot easier than like a Japanese film because I think there's
Yeah,
still some
the
connection in me
cadence
to
is
that
the
language.
same.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cadence is the same with Latin-based
yeah.
languages. So usually the pacing of reading it is going to fit what they're saying, assuming that the editing is done well.
Plus, there are people like me who sometimes are a little deaf when they're trying to watch a film. So I love subtitles because then I know exactly what's going on. Especially when they say something like, "Wait, did they say this?" But I'll go back and look, like if I'm watching a TV show and
Yeah,
I've got subtitles on, I can go
yeah.
back and go, "Oh, they said this word, not that word." Okay.
But in Japanese, the cadence is completely different because they don't have the same, breakdown
Right.
in the language, is what I was trying to finish saying.
And the funny thing is, yeah, when you do watch stuff in Japanese, you eventually start to figure out some of their cadences. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
like what their anger sounds like. Like there's one angry Japanese voice that I know, oh, that's when someone's angry in Japan. But
Right.
and also getting what Netter was saying too. I think a lot of people nowadays. There was this one YouTuber who made a video about how he has to put captions on whenever he watches American movies because sometimes he doesn't understand half the things coming out of like the actors' mouths on these shows because either because of bad sound
The
engineering, like
sound
yeah,
mixing
yeah,
is terrible,
yes,
just like the lighting is terrible. Everything you're watching a black screen with people mumbling. That's what these movies are these days.
you watch something like an old episode of Doctor Who, and even though they have their English accents, everything's understandable
Yeah.
because it's clear.
Yeah,
It's not.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Look, I could understand if you said to me, "Look, I can't understand, the thickest of Scottish brogue or, something like or a real deep East Ender, type of
Oh yeah.
Cockney." But other than that, okay, fine. If you're having trouble understanding, turn on the damn subtitles. Get used to reading again, people.
Yeah.
You're missing out on some potentially great films if you insist on it's got to be English language. Yeah, you're gonna get the most simplistic popcorn crap that Hollywood is putting out today.
Yeah.
It's like one of the movies I have coming up is King of Masks, which is an Asian film.
Yeah.
And I need the subtitles on for that because I don't speak, I think it's Chinese.
Yeah.
I have another one coming up, Il Postino. It's
Yeah. Italian.
It's an Italian film about a postman.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
a
a love
famous one.
story.
Yep.
But again, it's got subtitles.
I don't mind subtitles, but I have seen some horrendous AI generated ones, and sometimes that I miss visual. Yeah, they gotta stop with the don't be using the computer. Get a professional person translator to make your subtitles.
Yeah, they're just like voiceover acting and just anything else. There is, or editing, just plain editing. There is an art to it that not only can computers not do, but a lot of humans can't do. And you've got to understand if you're going to translate the dialogue of a movie into subtitles, you not only have to understand both languages really well, but you have to understand the film editing too, to a degree, in order to be able to hit the same punch as you would need to.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as people think. And as soon as you go, "Oh, just fix it in post. Just let AI do it." Okay, fine. If you're fine with putting out crap, then that's what your movie's going to be. It's going to be crap.
And that's not good for especially for those of hard of hearing. You need to be thinking about those people
Yeah,
too, and that's what you're making these for. Not
that is
just
true
yeah.
too.
But I did want to bring up best subtitles I've ever seen are usually yellow subtitles with a black border. Those are usually the best, and they need the border because that way they don't blend into the background usually, and you can read them.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point because it's not like, it's not like in a letterbox where you can always have white on black letters or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it over, the background and whatnot, and someone's wearing a white shirt or a black shirt or whatever, things can get lost. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Modern local. Yeah, I know Lynn Green. The don't talk to me about what they've done with anime dubs.
Yeah, because what they're literally doing is they're completely changing the story by changing the dialogue
and preaching to the audience, the American audience, about things that the anime
that is not translation. That is lying.
That is violations.
It is a corruption. It is a bastardization. And I use all of those words very specifically and in their truest meanings.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody love you guys like a FAT kid loves cake. I don't know. I love cake too, to be honest with you.
When you said you don't speak Chinese, I flashed back to Chris Farley's line, "For the love of God, I don't speak Japanese."
Oh, that was on the SNL skit where he's on the game show, right?
Yeah.
And he kept guessing right because there'd be three answers, and it would and then the guy would yell out Godzilla for one of the answers, and he says Godzilla, and ding ding, you got right. And then the Japanese contestant next to him says, "Oh, what?" And then he says, "Oh no, sorry." And then they bring out a stone slab with a knife on it, and she cuts one of her fingers off in front of him.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, that was funny. It's like a culture shock thing. Oh, I've dishonored my family by getting this answer wrong. I have to cut off an appendage.
Yeah.
All right, man. What are we doing this?
Actually, there was a really funny show called "I Survived a Japanese Game Show." It was hilarious.
Oh, really?
You had these were real Japanese game shows that are really bizarre and really, really hard. And they had I think they started off with 16 Americans, and they would be in teams, and they would slowly get weeded out until it got down to the final two to do the epic battle thing. But some of these things they do, I'm like, okay, wait, this is a real game show in Japan. This is hard. Oh yeah. You would think it would be something easy, like a spinning circle, and you have to try and get from that one spinning circle that's going around to another spinning circle to another spinning circle to get to the end, and you'd see them falling down and sliding, and then just when you think that they're making some good progress, they'll throw some whipped cream or something onto it, so they're sliding all over the place. But this is how they do them in the actual game show, so it's oh wow! But it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that. I survived the Japanese game show. Takashi's Castle, aka.
Yeah, it was years ago. I want to say at least 10 years ago.
All right, well, sounds good.
Let's see if I can find it.
Excuse
God bless
me.
you.
I used to watch Iron Chef, but then I found out that was... Well, actually, I'm not going to go so far as to say the Japanese show was staged, but I think the host was an actor, though. I thought he was an actor.
Yeah.
Chairman Kaga. He called himself Chairman Kaga, and he would... If the Iron Chef lost too many things in a row, he would get shamed and not show his face.
Right.
Okay. It was from 2008, and it had two seasons.
Okay, well, look for it.
The show's about a group of Americans who travel to Japan and have to compete against each other. Bless you.
Thank you.
And a number of wacky Japanese games in the game show Majid.
Cool. I bet it's on Tubi.
Possibly.
Because everything's on Tubi.
I don't know. I just Googled I survived a Japanese game show, and now it says that I can watch episodes if I want.
Oh, there you go.
So look do you recognize this gentleman here?
I didn't at first. That actually surprised me, yeah.
You just did one of his movies on Monday night.
Well, I know, but, that was a much
Cocktail,
older...
right?
Well, I've been
Color
talking about
Money,
Cocktail
Color
for
Money,
a couple
Color
of weeks,
Money,
but yeah,
Color
Color Money, yeah.
Tom Cruise lands by helicopter in first public appearance after Top Gun 3 announcement. Tom Cruise was spotted in London a month after Paramount confirmed Top Gun 3 is officially in development. Top Gun Maverick, released in 2022, became Cruise's highest-grossing film, earning over $1 billion globally. Cruise last appeared publicly at CinemaCon, where he promoted the upcoming comedy Digger. Oh, I guess he's in a comedy coming out. Tom Cruise is stepping out in style a month after Paramount Pictures confirmed Top Gun 3 was in the works at the studio. The actor, aged 63, was seen touching down at the London heliport on Thursday, May 14th, following the news that his box office breaking 2022 hit Top Gun Maverick would be getting a follow-up film. He was later seen through the airport terminal greeting airport staff. Cruise wore a collared black jacket and black slacks paired with aviator sunglasses. Josh Greenstein, co-head of Paramount Pictures, announced on April 16th during a presentation at CinemaCon that Top Gun 3 was officially in development, with a script underway with Cruise set to reprise his role as Pete Maverick Mitchell. While the actor didn't join the stage for the presentation, he did appear in a video saying, "The future looks pretty great from here," while atop the iconic water tower from the Paramount lot in Los Angeles. Cruise's last public appearance was at CinemaCon 2 days before the Top Gun announcement. Okay. I know you haven't seen this movie yet, Top Gun Maverick. I got to tell you, though, when you do get to it, though, it's gonna be a tearjerker with Iceman. I'm gonna say that.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
I think it might be Val Kilmer's final appearance in a movie while he was still alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Maverick has been in the Navy for like 100 years now, right? Well, no. I'm thinking of the television series Maverick, but anyway. Those of you interested in Top Gun 3, it's happening because it made lots of money because they released a normal movie in the summer that people wanted to see. Imagine that. In the negative side of the news, Miami police officers want to sue Ben Affleck and Matt Damon over The Rip, alleging Netflix movie caused substantial harm to their reputations.
Wow, interesting.
So I was of a different mind until I read the article, and now we'll see. Two law enforcement officers in Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, Jason Smith and Jonathan Santana, have filed a lawsuit against Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's production company, Artist Equity, over The Rip, the Netflix crime drama directed by Joe Carnahan that launched on the streamer in January. As reported by Entertainment Weekly, Smith and Santana alleged the characters played by Affleck and Damon in the movie have caused them substantial harm into their personal and professional reputations because the movie and its advertisements imply misconduct, poor judgment, and unethical behavior in connection with real law enforcement operation. Variety has also reached out to represent Artists for Equity for comment. The Rip stars Damon and Affleck as Lieutenant Dane Dumars and Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne, respectively, two law enforcement officers in the Miami-Dade Police Department who discover corruption in the ranks linked to $20 million of cartel cash. The cast also features Stephen Yeun, Teyana Taylor, Sasha Calle, and Kyle Chandler. Smith and Santana's lawsuit claims a real-life case from June 2016 in which they seized more than $21 million was an inspiration for the movie, which opens with the text that it was inspired by true events. Smith and Santana are not named in the movie. The lawsuit says the film used the unique, non-generic details of the June 29, 2016 investigation combined with its Miami-Dade setting and portrayal of the narcotics team creates a reasonable inference that the officers depicted are the plaintiffs. In the movie, Affleck and Damon's law enforcement characters bend the rules, such as in one scene where Affleck's character kills a DEA agent. Per Entertainment Weekly, the plaintiffs' attorneys allege that the defendants responded to their inquiry after the film was released in January 2026 by saying that the concerns are unfounded because the film did not expressly name Sergeant Smith and there were no implications that the plaintiffs engaged in any misconduct in the film. Lawyers for Smith and Santana are asking a public retraction and correction, including the addition of a prominent disclaimer for the movie. Two officers are seeking compensatory damages, punitive damages, and attorney fees per Entertainment Weekly. I want to bring up a comment. Do you remember at the end of a lot of movies when you'd see that little statement come up? What was it? The incidents portrayed in this film, whether if they reflect on real life things, is purely coincidental.
Yeah,
mucking
exactly.
that up, but it was something like that.
But it goes back to a very famous case. It was darn, I was just looking at this recently. Very famous member of royalty, I believe it was, sued because it made her look like an adulteress or something like that.
Right.
And ever since that case, they've always, for everything, they have put it into every movie that the events in this film are purely fictional, and any similarities to real people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. And especially in a movie like this, where you're saying inspired by
Yes.
true events. Yeah, it was inspired by true events, but that word "inspired by" tells you up front this is completely fictitious.
Here's where I am on this. I was originally, when I read this, I was like the police officers, like, nope, sorry, it's fiction, and people are allowed to, look at things in real life and base them and make their fictional things.
Yeah.
But I am going to say this for Hollywood: stop doing the inspired by true events nonsense. It
Yeah.
either is or it isn't true. It either is or it isn't, and if it isn't, that's fine.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Don't put it on there, because now you're getting a lawsuit, and maybe this will be dismissed, which it probably will
Or
be.
if you're gonna
but
do
yeah.
it, really lean into it
or
and
go by the facts.
yeah, what you can do is you could say, this event happened and there's a lot of speculation about it. We're going to choose one scenario. What if this is how it happened? And if you make that part of the tagline, you're saying in broad letters, this is based on the story that everyone's talking about. We don't know if it's true, but imagine if it was. This is that story,
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you think's going to happen legal wise with this?
If it comes down to an actual defamation, probably nothing. If
Yeah.
it's a civil suit, they'll lose, and lots of money will be awarded because people like to redistribute wealth. I'm serious. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really grim, but that is the truth. That's how a president can be, found not guilty of a certain crime, but then his so-called victim could then turn around and sue for millions of dollars and receive some kind of incredibly ridiculous award.
We've seen this happen before, yeah. On the one hand, they are, to some extent, public figures, but they are also, on the hand, people who knew the base of the story and who was who. Here's the thing, yeah, because they probably didn't get paid. So when does Law and Order get sued?
That's a great point. I'll tell you what, I know that's fiction, but it still pisses me off and annoys the hell out of me. And I'm like, that's not what happened. I don't know. Gaslighters.
I think what Hollywood needs to do is just stop saying based on a true story. Just stop it.
Yeah.
It's okay if you take a real event as an inspiration for your story. Writers do it all the time. And we're
Yeah.
not saying that the Miami police are corrupt or that they did things that were unethical in this thing. And I get that. I get that this is a work of fiction. The average audience member, though, they see inspired by true events. They see true and they say, oh, it's factual. And then they start and that's what happens. And I think...
I mean, honestly,
yes.
Another thing that they can really do, which would be way smarter, would be to start basing these fictional stories in fictional cities. There's a reason that Gotham and Metropolis exist in the DC universe.
Oh, that's something they could have done. They could have set it in Los Angeles instead of Miami, because then it wouldn't it would say inspired, and then it's not connected to the thing that happened in Miami.
Or like I said, create a completely
or a new city,
completely different fictional city.
Or just don't, Metro PD. I mean,
Los Caballeros, California.
there we go. Yes.
I don't know. There may be a Los Caballeros. I don't know.
I wonder if that's, there was a case inspired by Loneros that was from my state. They put a much more specific disclaimer in it listing the case that it was not about. See,
Listing the case that it was not about. That's kind of dangerous, though, because it's like you're saying that it's not, but I don't know.
one of my favorite...
I think this all comes down to the same thing that I have with Ridley Scott. It's like, no, something happened. If you're going to tell that story, tell the story. If you're not going to tell the story, then stay the hell away from it.
There was an episode of Millennium where Hollywood was making a thriller movie based on one of Frank Black's old cases. And somehow he got dragged into it because there were actual murders happening on the set of the thing. And he was getting really annoyed when he was reading the screenplay and he meets the actor playing him. And he was saying, he was looking at all this and he says that there is heroism and great storytelling in the facts. You don't need to be changing this from what really happened. Like
Right.
he got very offended by what they were doing, and they called the killer in it the Madman Maniac. LCTP worked for T.J. Hooker. Okay, we mean they actually hired members of the police department as consultants. That might be smart.
I
Right?
believe that's true also with the Chicago shows. Chicago, what is it? Chicago PD, Chicago
Hope and all
Fire,
those stuff,
Chicago
Mad.
Med, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see how this wraps up, I guess. You see that?
Yeah.
What does this remind you of?
Oh, I know exactly what this is. This is Blair Witch. Yeah.
Oh, darn,
Yeah,
I was going to ask the chat. Okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
But I'll tell you something. Well, it's hard because the chat is on the seconds delay back and
Whoa,
forth.
look down there underneath that. I see something looking up. I think it's the devil dog hound from hell. Oh, wait, that's just a twig. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying to imagine. That's the thing with the Blair Witch Project. You think you saw something that wasn't there, right? You're like looking around and you're getting
Look,
paranoid.
no matter what you say about Blair Witch, the original Blair Witch, in retrospect,
Right.
when you first saw it, there was
yeah.
a whole lot going on there in your imagination.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, I kept just comparing it to the shower scene in Psycho. You think you see a lot of stuff, and you don't. Your mind puts in a whole bunch of things that you didn't actually see. And that is one of the great things about the original Blair Witch. And like I've been saying about Twin Peaks, when it ends, if you can still be talking with people years later about what you think happened, what the backstory was, blah, 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 and all of this, that's some pretty good storytelling, And now this is not a remake. We'll get into that in the article.
It's a remake.
Yep.
Reboot plot. Yeah, remake, reboot. There you go. Yeah, it's good. And okay, let's just get into this with an official synopsis now, because there was a news a couple weeks ago. Now, for official synopsis for Blair Witch reboot is being kept under wraps. The first plot details have surfaced.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be about Heather Donahue and her scrappy group of Scooby Gang, and they're gonna go into the woods. Did you ever see the Scooby Doo Project clips on the Cartoon Network?
I did.
Those were funny.
Yeah.
I remember when the one lady says, and they used actual actors, but then they had the cartoon characters, and she says, "You kids stay out of there." And like Skaggy's like, "Yeah, you know what she needs? She needs to go see a dentist." Like, comments like that. And it's like, and it's like Velma's recounting the story about how they were arrogant and how it all went wrong.
Yeah.
So according to Deadline, it will deal with a family that goes on a camping trip but goes missing one by one after they hear strange noises in the forest. Not a whole lot to go on, but it's a start. Stay tuned for more information as we learn it. Dylan Clark, Portrait of God, is set to direct the new take on the seminal found footage horror film from a script he's rewriting from Chris Devlin. Blumhouse's Jason Blum and Atomic Monsters' James Wan are producing the film with Roy Lee, and Divide and Conquer's Adam Hendricks and Greg Gilreath. Original Blair Witch Project filmmakers Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick, producer Greg Hale, and stars Joshua Leonard and Michael C. Williams will executive produce alongside Steven Schneider, Michael Clear, and Judson Scott. It's not a remake, Williams recently teased of the project. You just wait. But they said it was a remake a couple weeks ago. Lionsgate is lining up filming for the fall with a reported budget in the $10 million range. 1999's Blair Witch Project followed 3 film students who vanished in the Maryland woods while shooting a documentary on a local legend, leaving only their footage behind, produced for around $60,000. It earned $248.6 million globally. That's a nice investment. Mm-hmm. Question, do you think it's going to be a found footage movie?
It should be, but they've got to find a way to elevate it. I think the way found footage. Let's face it, the original Blair Witch, although it wasn't the first found footage film,
It's the one that kicked off the trend.
it really kicked off a trend because of the way it was done, particularly in the viral marketing. And what we've gotten since then, there's been some hits and misses, as you get with these kinds of trends. If you're going to do it again, you've got to at least nod to it, but you've got to find some way to elevate it, and I can't imagine how they would. But we'll see. True. I got to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what happens.
There was one I think I caught on Tubi or somewhere, which is about a plane crashing into like this part of the United States on New Year's Eve, and like I guess it's like an Area 51 type place, but instead it's all just about dinosaurs attacking them in the middle of the night. It was so bad. And it's like this one guy, of course you have the guy in the plane that's being a jerk. I want another drink, and all this stuff, and it's but I'm a sucker for found footage movies, even bad ones.
Yeah.
And, but Blair Witch was the one that, I mean, it's not the first one, but it's the one that really started the trend.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm curious about this reboot. It could be a family like taking home movies, and then stuff starts happening.
That would be. Yeah, that would be a great way to do it. That does lend an air of creepiness to it, because especially you have the intermixing of, wholesome fun, family time, maybe a couple, tense moments that you get in a family and stuff. And then shit starts to get real, right?
I guess so, yeah. Those sticks, man. I don't know, man. That's some pagan stuff there, man. I don't know.
Yes, that was the intent. That was entirely the intent.
They put a hex on you, and they mess with the stuff, and then, they disrespected the rocks. The guy kicks the rock thing over. Remember that? And,
yep.
And then Heather starts putting it back. They're just going nuts in that movie. Scariest part of the movie, though, was the tent with the kids. You hear the kids on the outside of the tent. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It's getting the original creators involved again. There was the sequel, Book of Shadows, that came out, and then there was just Blair Witch that came out years later, which I think ended with the Blair Witch being an alien from outer space or some nonsense. I couldn't figure out what was going on in that ending.
I don't even remember that third one you were just mentioning.
It'd be interesting. If they run into like ghostly or undead versions of the three students from the original movie in this version.
I would not be surprised if they tie this in as being related.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
They went out of their way to say that it wasn't a remake, which implies to me that this is still within that narrative lore of at least the first two movies.
When did Blair Witch come out? 99? I'm sure we talked about it when we did our Summer of 99 stream.
Probably.
On Friday. We probably talked about Blair Witch Project. I saw it in the theater when it came out. What you really need to do when you watch Blair Witch Project, though, and I know they included it on the DVD. I don't know if it's on the Blu-ray. They included the Sci-Fi Channel, The Curse of the Blair Witch mini movie, and that fills in a lot of the gaps of the lore that helps you understand what's happening in the actual live-action documentary better. And I don't know. I know Arrow released a special edition of it over in Europe. I want them to release that in the States. Please bring that on over here, maybe in time for this new movie, and I'll happily pick that up. All right, moving on to... I guess we're going to end with this.
Yeah.
A remake of Magic, and my original thing is like, no. You're going to do better than Richard Attenborough, Anthony Hopkins, and all these other characters.
And Margaret. If you're going to try doing this without Anne Margaret or someone of her caliber, forget about it.
They'll have Sydney Sweeney in it. I'm kidding.
I was just going to say, unless they're planning on putting Sydney Sweeney.
I don't know. Just put her in everything now. Not only is Sam, actually she has to be older though, like the character, because he's like it's
True.
like he's. It's not only is Sam Raimi producing the new adaptation of the 70s cult classic Magic that was announced last year. Oh, I didn't know about this, but the Hollywood Reporter reports that he's now officially on board to direct Now this will be interesting if like Bruce Campbell shows up in this.
Oh God.
I thought it
Oh
might have been
God.
interesting to have Anthony Hopkins take on the Burgess Meredith role from the first one and have him in this as
Oh
that.
yeah,
That
right.
might be interesting, yeah, as like the agent. But I don't know if he's getting too long in the tooth for that too. But I don't know. We'll see. The newly imagined take on the 1978 Killer Doll movie comes courtesy of Lionsgate with Roy Lee, Chris Hammond, and Tim Sullivan also on board to produce the upcoming movie. Meredith Week and Pavan Kaladindi are overseeing the new project for Lionsgate. The original Magic starred Anthony Hopkins as Corky, a magician who reaches fame alongside his ventriloquist dummy, the obnoxious wisecracking Fats, whom Corky cannot control. Fats is one terrifying dummy too. His ghastly appearance terrifying viewers even before its release, with the film's terrifying TV ads which declared magic is fun. We're dead.
Yeah.
Considering the psychological warfare that broke out between the two lead characters of Send Help, Sam Raimi is an inspired choice. Oh, that was his recent movie. I'm kind of curious about that one. Rachel McAdams plays like a woman that's being I don't know, just like she's in one of these horrible office jobs where everything's gone wrong. I think she gets fired, but she's on the plane, and then her boss gets hurt in on the plane, and then like basically the power dynamic is switched on an island somewhere. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, okay. Sam Raimi is inspired choice. The project also means that Raimi is sticking with horror, which is even better news. The 1978 psychological horror movie was directed by Richard Attenborough and written by William Goldman, adapting his own novel. I wrote in my celebration of the original film's 45th anniversary, magic wasn't the first time that a ventriloquist was terrorized by his own dummy, but its emphasis on the psychological Hopkins' intense performance and Attenborough opting for straightforward tension without a hint of camp elevated the film into something that holds up well. So, yeah. Oh, and it's playing on a variety of platforms from Shudder to Screambox, and I think it's on Tubi as well, as we mentioned. I don't know. This could be good.
Yeah.
They could have Bruce Campbell play the agent.
I have visceral reactions because he guessed it in that first Spider-Man movie, and it's like, okay, he didn't throw anything off. It was a kind of a cool, hey, look, there's Bruce Campbell. But then, like I said, they brought Bruce Campbell into that sequel for Waxwork, and it was all up from there. So.
I see. Well, he doesn't always use Bruce Campbell in his movies either. It's probably because if he wants
True.
A comedic tone, then he's going to bring in Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Crypt Keeper episode about a psycho ventriloquist? I'm sure there was. And by the way, I think they're showing Tales from the Crypt episodes on Shudder now, if you have a Shudder subscription.
Yeah.
By the way, I did get an AMC Plus subscription because they had it on sale for $29.99 for a whole year, and I've been waiting for that to go on sale forever. I'm like, I'm not going to do Shudder at the prices they're charging because you don't own stream. But I'm like, for $29.99, and it comes with Shudder. And now I can watch old Tales from the Crypt episodes. I watched the one with with the Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
After the woman on, we have to do a good old days on Tales from the Crypt, maybe in the fall.
Absolutely.
That might be something.
Absolutely, good idea. Yeah. Speaking of doing stuff like that in the fall, whatever happened to the idea of film releases coinciding with the season? I noticed that all the horror films are coming out this summer. There's only like one or two coming out in September.
I think Hollywood has its scheduling all screwed up. I heard people saying that they're seeing Oreos that are themed around Avengers Doomsday in stores now, probably because the stores thought the companies who released the Oreo probably thought that the movie was coming out in the summer, probably because it originally was coming out in the summer, and then they changed the date to the
We've
Christmas.
seen this happening over and over and over again, where they have licenses to do products that have expiry dates, so they've got to release them when they make them. Sorry, you're not going to be doing your film now till next year, and so that marketing just peters. They've got to get the product out. And now there's no synergy with your movie. Congratulations. You lose.
Yeah.
Anyway. But speaking of marketing, tonight looks like deleted. It looks like you don't have a late night tonight. So, but you do next week. You have a very good looking boomer who's going to be on
Yes,
next
I'll be
week
I'll be
as your
joining
guest.
him. Be joining him next week for reserved seats, and
So so we're gonna forward you. There's gonna be a little bit of a wait, but we're gonna forward you to my my Doctor Who presentation tonight, which does start in about not quite 2 hours. But go ahead and hit that notification bell on that so that you can come back and check it out if you're a late owl like myself. Tomorrow, of course, we've mentioned several times, Devil Dog, the Hound from Hell, Members Night at the Movies, celebrating Aged Boomer's birthday with a movie of some kind. We'll find out what kind.
Terrifying classic. I have to tell you, you won't be able to sleep well that night, man. Maybe use the bathroom before the movie so you don't have any unhappy accidents. Because man, this movie's
All I'm
gonna
going to
freak
say
you
is,
out.
whether you sleep well or not, as long as you got Kim Richards on your mind, you should be okay. Don't worry too much.
Except she's how old in this movie? I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, I'm just saying.
She's age appropriate for me because
That's right. Because yes, I understand. It's like the Jennifer Connelly thing with me. Because like she's older than I
Exactly
am,
right.
so
Exactly
I had a
right.
crush on her. It doesn't. Okay. What was I going to say though? It's also got Richard Crenna. We like him, right?
I know, absolutely.
And I like the actress playing his wife in the movie, the mom in this movie too. Like
Yvette something or other.
yeah, she's nice looking too, actually. But yeah, there's all
Another
sorts of
one.
things.
So,
You got the nosy neighbor because there always has to be a nosy neighbor in 1970s movies, right?
of course.
Peeking over, and like this, he's like, oh.
Look, even if it's a bad movie, and I have no idea whether it will be or not, we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. So members, look forward to seeing you there. If you're not a member, consider it. It really is a lot of fun every Monday night.
Wait a minute. We're doing another Satan movie. We did one last year with the car.
That says
We're doing
way
another
more
one.
about you than it does about me, Boomer. Just
That
saying.
was my pick last year. That one. It was another one of these where it's the devil again.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right. Of course, Tuesday is our mystery night on our affiliated channels. Live from Sparkwood and 21, followed by the next installment of Sherlock Holmes. Thursday, Netters Network.
It's gonna be us shooting the breeze unless I get a guest, which right now I don't have.
Okay.
But I do want to remind my members to go over to my channel after the stream and make sure that you place your vote on the 2 polls that I have up.
Yep.
When would you like your next member stream to be, and what would you like to do on that date? Also, I want to remind you that I'm going to be having that special giveaway of Robert James' movie One Step Ahead. It's a film noir. And if you want to win that, it's an autographed copy of his film noir. You need to be a member because I'm going to give that away on a special member stream.
Very cool.
There you go.
It's like less than a third of a cup of coffee to be a member on my channel. So
That's true.
Consider it.
And that brings us to Friday, where we have a very special. It's a special weekend, right? Because this is the real Star Wars anniversary, right? And this is the Friday that's closest to it. So we're going to be talking Star Wars, specifically our childhood Star Wars memories, and even more specifically, the toys that kept it alive in between films for us. People forget that Star Wars was very much a toy-driven franchise because the kids loved it and it fired up the imagination. So we're going to be talking about especially those Kenner toys of the 70s and early 80s with a very special subject matter expert, Michael French of Retro Blasting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Of
looking
course,
forward to it.
we may make a brief mention about a movie that's coming out this weekend that's Star Wars related, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. That's for sure. And then Saturday, this is Big Al's week. We'll be over on Big Al's channel for I forget. I just dropped the promo for it, and it's already gone out of my head what movie we're doing. Oh yes, the Disney classic Tangled. That's right, the one that has songs in it that I don't remember, but I do remember the movie. So we will be watching that this Saturday.
Cool.
All right.
And I'm sorry, there is a breaking news story I have to announce tonight. I can't wait till next week. Barbara Streisand will miss Cannes ceremony. The actor, singer, filmmaker was unable to accept her honorary Palme d'Or in person after a knee injury. So, we wish our best wishes to Miss Streisand tonight.
The amount of give a crap I don't have.
Yeah, I'm like, you're the only one that's wishing her best wishes.
His tongue is planted firmly in his cheek there.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Anyway, y'all have a good week. We will follow up on this next week, of course. Spend a good half hour talking about it. All right. Y'all have a good week, man, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.